Cameras rolling and action. I need my hairdresser, man.
Coffee!
Lights, camera, and action. Well, howdy, folks. My name is Deputy Dugan, and I am the law holder around these parts. I'm in charge of upholding the school law. Now, my buddies around here are going to help you, and they're going to show you some key information you're going to need once you get your own whippersnappers. Now, our law starts in Chapter 3. Chapter 3, Responsibilities and Liabilities. Negligence, libel and slander, child abuse, and neglect. And now we're going to talk about a tortellini.
Tortellini? Deputy Dugan, I think you mean a tort.
Well, a tort is an act that injures someone and for which the victim may sue the wrongdoer for damages. And it can be intentional or unintentional. Our next term of the day is library.
No, Deputy Dugan, it's liability.
Liability? Oh, liability is a concept of civil fault in which a person or entity, like a board of education, acting by itself or through others causes harm to another. Yay! 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 Our first section is going to be over determining liability for torts. Can a teacher's duty of supervision extend beyond school hours?
All right, kids, you go over there and practice your kung fu. The bus will come pick you up, and Miss Anderson's gonna practice her nap.
Now, teachers are not ordinarily liable for students' acts after school, but they can be liable if they assign or initiate dangerous activities. If teachers are careless, are they automatically liable for damages?
Wow! Miss Anderson! Billy broke my arm in half! Not my problem.
No. In most cases, it is almost impossible to prevent an accident after school because they tend to happen so quickly. To recover damages, injured students must prove more than that the teacher was careless.
Are there special liabilities for student teachers and substitutes? Hi, my name is Mr. Ronald.
No, there are not special liability standards. Substitute and student teachers are held to the same duties and responsibilities as full-time teachers. So our next term is contributory negligence. If a student's own negligence contributed to the injury, the law in a few states would consider that student guilty to contributory negligence.
Time to do some reps. Yeah. Yeah. I need to amp this up. Hernia!
Contributory negligence strikes again.
Did you know that a student's age can affect his or her age to recover for negligence? Students under the age of 7 are typically considered to be incapable of contributory negligence. Well, when does a student assume the risk of being injured? When they voluntarily compete in sports activities in which they know the inherent risk of injury. Do teachers need to purchase liability insurance? Not necessarily. It's usually provided through the union. Does a waiver or release prevent an injured student from suing? Generally not. It's usually not considered a legally binding document. The more you know.
And now for a serious moment. Are teachers liable if they fail to report child abuse? Yes. Every state requires that teachers, along with administrators and counselors, report known or suspected cases of child abuse or neglect. And those who fail to do so are subject to penalties under the law.
All right, great work today, class. Toby, do you mind if I see you after class?
Can schools be held liable for failure to maintain a safe environment? Yes, they can be held liable. That's why there's those safety signs. Can schools be held liable for negligence when teachers are injured? Unfortunately, yes. But teachers are typically barred from suing their employers because of the availability of remedies under the state laws offering workers' compensation. Can parents be held liable when teachers are injured by students? Yes, they can. Where parents have directly contributed to a student's action.
Hey, Billy! Hey!
What?
My mommy said I didn't have to take my medication today.
All right, class. No more library privileges for the rest of the semester.
What? What?
Action. Can school districts and school officials be held liable for violating a student's constitutional rights?
Susie, that book's not allowed.
Yes. Public school officials who violate students' constitutional rights, such as free speech, religious freedom, and the right to due process, can be liable for damages under federal law. In this section, we're going to talk about what constitutes as libel and slander. Now, making a false statement that hurts another person's reputation can be one of two forms of defamation of character. Libel is the written... What are you doing? Get out of here! Doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm not doo-doo. Well, that is a prime example of libel defamation of character, whereas slander is a verbal... What'd you call me?
You're a bitterhead.
Well, that, ladies and gentlemen,
Doo-doo-head.
is slander. Now we're going to talk about what kinds of statements are defamatory. Well, you can say all kinds of stuff like...
I heard that Deputy Dugan made out with the janitor.
Dude. I smelled his armpits one time, and they smelled like rotten eggs.
Dude. I heard that Deputy Dugan can't read.
Oh man, I heard he left his sister in a mall parking lot for 4 hours.
Oh, dude. I heard that Deputy Dugan has polio.
That is not
Oh, I heard that he beat up Joe's grandma.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When can defamatory statements be made and still avoid liability? Statements that are clearly understood as being satirical or humorous and that are not understood to state actual facts about a person are not considered defamatory.
Dr. Shibabu! Guess what it says in the yearbook about you? It says if you don't have your 12 cups of coffee, you rip people's heads off! That's preposterous.
In this section, we'll be talking about child abuse and neglect. You might be asking, what is child abuse exactly? It is the intentional injury to a child for which there is no reasonable explanation. It is the physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, as well as negligent treatment or maltreatment of a child under the age of 18. Child abuse and neglect must always be reported. Anyone who works with children and has reasonable cause to believe that child abuse or neglect is occurring must make a report. If it is not reported, it is punishable by law and carries both civil and criminal penalties. However, all who do make reports of child abuse are protected by law because of acting in good faith. Welcome to the end of Chapter 3. Let's do a quick overview on what we learned today, shall we? Firstly, we determined how educators could be liable for torts, not tortellini. In fact, we know that what a tort is an act that injures someone and for which the victim may sue the wrongdoer for damages. Remember, it can be intentional or unintentional. Secondly, we learned the defenses against liability and how to save your skin or prevent you from losing your job. Claim the right individual for whatever the act may be, and in this case, hitting a teacher with a bat. Who writes this stuff anyway? Thirdly, we covered some important types of liability, such as maintaining safe school environments, always being on your guard, and taking under consideration other people's religions and values. We also learned that schools, teachers, parents, and students can all individually be held liable depending on a certain situation. And fourthly, damages and defamation. Well, we all know what libel and slander are, don't we? Well, anyway, be sure not to get confused between libel and liable. They're two different things. We know when defamatory statements can also be made without being held liable. And lastly, but certainly not least, we talked about child abuse and neglect. These are serious issues that should never be taken lightly, ever. Nope. If in doubt, be sure to talk to other administrators and take action. It is up to us to uphold the school law. Created by Kennedy Dorfer, Jason Worthington, and Lee Hutchins. Action!
Does anybody know where the coffee is?
Who let the goats in?